The call for President of Federal Republic of Nigeria to create his own rule and depart from the existing UK rules on procedure of all our armed forces of Nigeria is increasing, and this has necessitated to have had a conference that will examine both sides of the rule, listening to what Chief of Defence Staff and others have to say. The call for change from the rules from UK, British rule, by creating our own rule. What does that mean to Nigerian forces?
Yes, it is the way to go, and it is part of ongoing efforts by the Chief of Defence Staff to ensure that the personnel, troops' welfare is given the priority it deserves. Troops should be treated with fairness and equity at all times. We found issues with what we inherited from the UK, and that's why we need to domesticate them to fit the Nigerian context. That's what it means to us.
So if this is done as soon as possible, will Nigerian armed forces be happy with it?
Certainly, we'll be better off. The military justice system in the Nigerian armed forces will be much more aligned with the national judicial system when this is done.
It seems Nigeria is still operating with the foreign rules for years. What does that mean, and what will be take home from the paper presented by you?
Well, if you determined the nexus between us and the British, we incorporated a lot of the British law, and in the armed forces we have the rules of procedure Army 1972, which is a British rule. Now effort is on top gear by the current administration in the military to bring on an indigenous rules which will going to solve a lot of problems we encounter with the British rules of procedure 1972. I'll give you example. If you look at the British rules, in their footnote they refer to Army Act 1955. It is a British Army Act. They refer to Queen's regulations, and these are not applicable to us. And the implication is that when a case moves on, even goes on appeal, the appeal may rely on all those things in order to give rulings, as I enunciated in the case of Dodo versus Nigerian Army. Now, the indigenous rules is going to solve all these problems because it is going to integrate our tradition, our culture, and our way of doing things in the military, and not the one that aligns with the foreign rules. So we are making a very big effort in order to achieve such indigenous rules, and when it is provided, it will limit and solve a lot of challenges we are facing with the current rules, as it were.
How long will it take to get this done?
It is a process. By the end of the day, it is going to be signed by the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, and the process has just kick-started. And knowing the kind of person of Chief of Defence Staff, General Musa, I assure you that it is going to make sure that it will be expedited so that the indigenous rule will come to be.
Is there any need for National Assembly to have input?
It is signed by the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It is a rule which is adopted during court-martial or summary trial. The President comes in when it is something like Armed Forces Act, which National Assembly has already passed, which has already been assented to. But we are talking of the rules for the administration of court-martials and summary trials in the armed forces of Nigeria.
That the rules of procedures, the fundamentals will follow, because there's no association or administration will be done without the follow of the position of the law. As you can see, the Armed Forces Act has explained so many things in the ways that an accused or suspect, as the case may be, will be punished, and that's reduce or mitigate the long procedure of the litigation.